So at this point, y'all are probably sick of hearing me talk about this book. This is the last I'm going to talk about it, but here's my official review for Our Vicious Oaths by Annie Davenport. So first, let me say thank you to NetGalley and to Harper Voyager for the art and the opportunity to get an advanced reader copy of this. This was far more than I was anticipating, and I'm so glad that I grabbed it. So I will start with this and say the tagline that I saw on social media that made me even go and request it was that someone posted, and it was "Do not disturb." I'm reading. Jazz posted that features a 7-foot shadow daddy with grills. I, I ran to NetGalley to request it, and I'm gonna add the fact that he has dreadlocks. And so for me, that's just all I needed to hear to go pick this one up personally. But what really also pulled me in is that it is considered a dark romantasy. And so I want to touch on that because I'm not a huge contemporary romance girl. And I'm also new to fantasy, but dark romance is something that I really enjoy and I read a lot of. So to see that this is a dark romantasy novel, it was something that I really wanted to get my hands on to be able to review it. So again, thank you NetGalley and Harper Voyager and also Annie Davenport for the opportunity to review the art. Some of the things I want to touch on that I really enjoyed about the book, I feel like it has very descriptive writing. Since I'm new to fantasy, I struggle with things that are considered high fantasy and that have a lot of unique or specialized language and world building and things like that. Sometimes it can just be over my head and hard for me to ingest. But this one, the way it was written, again, it leaned more into the romance feel of it. And I was so invested in the story that I forgot that I was reading fantasy, if that makes any sense. So things that I really feel like stood out were just the writing style of it overall, and then I think the characters also were okay. So speaking on the characters, so our female main character is Kadisha. Kadisha is an Aether, I believe it's pronounced Aether princess by birth. However, she was awarded the opportunity to explore things before she was due to wed, which was due to this prophecy. So she's a warrior. She has a band of female warriors. They ride on these dragons, commandos. I'll put it on the screen because I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. And so she has an identity outside of being a princess, but also she's not that she doesn't want to rule. She doesn't want to inherit somebody else's kingdom because she is actually a believer in where she comes from and her people, and she wants to lead her people. So then you have Malachi. Malachi is the Apollyon king. He has kind of this reputation of being a bad boy, mainly because the overall consensus is that he has taken or made an unsubstantiated claim to the throne. And also, the history of his family is tied negatively to Kadisha's family history. So they are enemies off the rip. Now you're going to add in um, Rashad. Forgot that boy's name, probably because I wanted to forget him. Rashad, however, he is the Hyperion King. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Hyperion King. That's correct. I struggle sometimes. So he is actually what people are believed to be the actual sound ruler of these 7 kingdoms. And this is due to a prophecy that he has kind of banked his whole reputation and all his actions on, which is that he is to marry Rashida. I call this girl Rashida so much, and her name is Kadisha. I do not know any Davenport. Can you change her name for me before you publish this? Anyway, that he's to marry Kadisha and that they are the sire child, and then this is going to unite these bloodlines and basically establish what everyone believes to be true from this prophecy. So the blurb on the cover of the book says the enemy of my enemy is my lover. And so it's almost like a love-hate triangle with everyone having their own vested interests and then also some parties coming together to further take down another one. And so it was really just full of drama, but in the best way possible. So if you're interested in reading this, the themes that I think I will point out to those who are considering it or are unsure. So if you love dynamic characters, descriptive writing, high stakes, fae, lots of spice, I think you will really enjoy this one. And then even that battle for power, it put me in the mind almost like a Game of Thrones kind of feel because there are competing interests to be the sovereign ruler. But again, I was not expecting to love it. I thought I was going to enjoy it because of the 7-foot shadow daddy with the grill. But I ended up really getting pulled into the point where I forgot I was reading fantasy as a new fantasy reader. And I just thoroughly enjoyed the read. So thank you again to NetGalley, Annie Davenport, and Harper Voyager for the art. Be sure to go check it out and look for it. It publishes and releases on October 28th of this year, and it is definitely a must read.